In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good night, everyone, and get ready because it's time for the late chip at the video store.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Late Shift at the Video Store, but there's no Kelly.
Yeah, the intro lied to us.
Yeah, like what the fuck? But of course, no matter what, we always have to have an Australian co-host in here. So I brought my man, Kangaroo Boy himself, Jake.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. I'm a little scared. I don't know how to host. I've forgotten how to host since 2018 movie Warzone, but it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to this. I love late shift stuff, so always gonna be part of this.
That's a good fucking answer right there, Spencer. We will definitely bring that up. I know, Nazara. Isn't it bullshit?
Well, why didn't you make a new intro, Nazara? You feel like that should have actually fully promoted. Like
I blame you, Nazara.
Yeah.
But as always, buy our shit. We got some brand new shows with new t-shirts involved with them. So always buy our shit. It's always great times. But yes, the topic of discussion today at the video store is, of course, what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie? Jake, what do you got for an answer for that? You got something good?
So what do I go with my first one? I guess because I've got a couple of choices. I feel like there's some really good, effective use of horror in certain movies that I really like. I want to shout out one that from a movie that I rewatched last year, and I just absolutely love how terrifying it is. Hereditary.
Oh, okay.
You could make that an argument. I could see that.
Yes, no, 100%, yeah.
What I love about Hereditary is that it's a slow burn to the release, and during that final climax, you got Alex Wolff just walking through his house, and in the background, you just see someone like on the wall, and it's so dark you could barely see. And then when he turns around, he hears a noise, and he just sees this guy in the doorway, and it's a guy that's fully naked while he's smiling. I just found that just absolutely terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
You know how he just slowly turns and then just cuts to just the naked guy, and I'm just like, what the fuck? There's just another guy in the house. Just absolutely was like shocking to me, and I was just like really effective. So that really got to me there.
That is an actual great answer. I didn't that didn't even occur to me. That is actually in it. Is naked old man. It's always freaky shit.
It's scary to see naked men who like smiling.
Yeah, exactly. But we do have some customers ready to go, so I guess let's bring one on. We got Diaz. Hey, how's it going, man?
Doing good. A good Friday night here.
Awesome to hear. The question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie? What do you got?
So this is a movie that I watched while I was in high school. I watched on YouTube because back then someday they put movie on YouTube, found footage movie in particular. I gotta go with the last 20 minutes of Wreck, when they get to the attic, everything one of the most scary, intense, because you watch the film the first time, you had no idea where it's going. You think, oh, just a zombie, there's something going on, then that slow realization that a demon-possessed girl, that, where you see at the end of her the hammer, as the editor started coming over at the end, after like, God help us all, and the moment that terrifying, the reporter reaching for the camera, you're just hearing the creepy good noise going on in the background. You're not sure it's going to happen. That you get pulled out. It's one of the most, especially if I found footage of this movie, Japanese, and it's pretty impressive. It really blew me. I love the director. I just jumped so many times, especially in my room, watching on my computer. Like, oh my god! And like,
yeah, I think.
Let's see. At that image alone, the possessed girl coming out, full naked, the hammer in the hand, knocking stuff over, and one more horrifying image I've seen in a horror movie.
Yeah, I really like Wreck. I think it's one of the best found footage horror movies, and that whole ending is really good. Like, it has that like almost infrared sort of like in the dark sort of like vision, and just seeing like the weird creature, like it looks human, but it's like it looks something else. Yeah, really good choice. I think it's really effective.
And the last line of the film is make it more scary. Like, we had to shoot everything, for fuck's sake. That's the last line you hear. And that's realization.
That is definitely a great choice, Chris. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Welcome.
We will
Very good choice.
see you soon. Stay in the
Thank you.
comments if you like. Thank you again. That was definitely a great choice. But yeah, we are actually filling up here. So
We got a good
moving
list
on
of people. I like this.
to the next customer. We got Joseph.
Joseph.
Finally here.
How's it
The
going?
timing's been terrible for me to try to be on here on other episodes, but here I am.
So the question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
So just because I was barely missing it, but I arrived after he mentioned it. What was the scene that Chris mentioned?
The final 20 minutes in Wreck.
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I have a different final 20 minutes, but it's not Wreck. It's actually from the original version of Suspiria. So I saw this for the first time earlier this year, and oh my gosh, first of all, the colors are great. They are very striking and spellbinding. And the last 20 minutes are very, very creepy to me, but also very nerve-wracking, because at this point in the movie, minor spoilers, I won't get into too specifics for anyone who's still interested in watching. I'd still recommend it, but there are small moments that get me on my nerves in the best ways, where the main character is trying to get fair. When the main character is trying to maneuver her way in the mansion, there are noises you hear. There are shadows that you see in other rooms. So there's an always looming threat of all the villains that are around the school that it takes place in, and it's just creepy. And it's also composed really great with the goblin music that is used for the score as well. And also this one scene where you can see a doorknob moving because someone's trying to get in. It just gets me really nervous and tense. It's a really great moment, I think, that I wanted to highlight.
Yeah, now Suspiria is one of the most gorgeous looking movies ever, and I really like I don't want to spoil it, but there's a certain death scene that happens, I think, throughout the movie where they're hanging, but that seeme's really effective. But no,
thing.
Is that the blue? Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
well, they even promoted it on the video. Wow, that's good. Yeah, a really good choice. I really like Suspiria. Obviously, with the remake, still got the poster. It's my favorite horror movie ever. But no, I have much respect for the original.
And I agree with Joseph, especially the goblin music. Fucking fantastic. I love the score of that damn movie. It's a great choice. Yeah. Joseph, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Gonna take off, but thanks for having me, guys.
Definitely.
Thank you, Joseph.
And again, we have a full room, so we're going to keep on going here. We got our next customer. We got John.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, John.
So I left the party because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. You couldn't have this show without having me on. I know you needed me on the show to give my
blasphemous if we didn't have you on. We
right.
needed
So
the horror man himself.
what I did is I thought there was a scientific study done of what is the scariest horror movie. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this study.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna pick the movie because I have the total backing of science. The scariest movie ever made is Sinister by Scott Derrickson. Everybody knows this. This is backed by science. So I figured, what is the scariest moment in this movie? And I'm not gonna say Sinister doesn't have cheap jump scares all throughout the movie, because it absolutely does. However, I would think the scariest moment in the movie is when Ellison has already destroyed all the movies, and then he hears the projector go on in the attic, right? And he slowly lifts his head up through the hole in the attic, and all the dead kids are watching the movie. And then Bughuul comes on the screen, and then he's not on the screen, and he transcends the screen, and they have that jump scare where his head just comes right in front of Ethan Hawke's face, and he falls out of the attic. So I would say in the scariest movie known to mankind, that's probably the scariest moment in the movie. Therefore, scientifically, that has to be the scariest moment in horror.
It's the best choice, is what you're saying. Like, it's objectively.
Yeah.
we can't
Stop the stream. That's it.
It's such a great moment, and it is a great pick of a movie because you have those home videos of those terrifying fucking scenes of the kids killing their families.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Those are like second and third place too. Like the lawnmower scene where the lawnmowers is going along, and it runs over somebody's head. Like that's crazy.
And this is our second choice in a row in which we also have hanging.
Yes.
Starts off with 4 hangings. Screw one hanging. Suspiria sucks. 4 hangings. Right next to each other.
It's a great choice. Thank you, John, for popping in.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Definitely. Man, that was certainly a great choice. We're having some fucking great different choices going on.
I like this, the variety, creativity we got here.
We're bringing on our next customer. We got Jeremy.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good.
So the question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
Well, I had kind of a problem coming up with a good one because I don't really get scared. And then I realized there were 2 things that scare me: children and old people. So one scene is in Pet Sematary from like 1990 or 89 or whenever, the older movie, when Fred Gwynn is looking for Gage, and then Gage pops out and just slices his Achilles. And knocks him down. He's got that knife, the scalpel, and he knocks him down. And then we see him like eating his throat or whatever it was he was doing. Movie terrifies me. The old person side is in The Visit, I think, is the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah, the M. Night Shyamalan with the 2 kids.
Yeah.
And they've already realized that it's not who they're supposed to be. But the old man goes up to the kid and he goes, "I hear you have a problem with germs," and just slams the shitty diaper on the side of his face. Like, that stuff is way scarier to me than any kind of demon or monster or anything. Like, that's just thinking about it makes my skin crawl and makes me want to hurl.
That's actually like really effective. Like, just the idea. It's not like, like the fear of death. It's just the fear of getting shit in your face.
Yeah, like a grown crazy man dropping his dump from his hand to your face. Like, that's. Ugh. But that's what I got, man.
I agree with you that having shit thrown in your face, that's some scary shit because I don't want that to happen. And then Achilles, that type of shit just irks me with Achilles heel, anything with like the fingers, shit like that. Oh man, it's fucking brutal.
Those little injuries that lead to the other stuff, you know?
Yes. Ugh. Especially a little child doing it to you. That is definitely some creepy shit.
Terrifying.
Great 2 choices, Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Both great fucking horror movies, fun choices.
I was not expecting The Visit to get brought up, and I just love that Jeremy brought that up, and the best scene that you could talk about with The Visit. That was a great choice.
Yes. Well, bringing on our next customer, we got. Holy shit, we got Cody. We got fucking Cody.
Yeah, first time able to be on. First time it's not a video game topic that I have no clue what to answer. Because I can't say the final boss in any sports game. By the way, Jeremy, if you're scared of kids, don't ever join the Kingsmen. On that note, the remake of Scariest sucks. So if we're gonna get that out of the way right now. It's terrible. So maybe the original is better.
Question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
Yeah. So I don't watch horror movies because they terrify me. But this one has always stuck with me. I haven't watched it since, so I don't know how well it sticks up. But I'm going with I think it's The Strangers. And when they're coming at her and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And the simple response is, "Because you were home," has always freaked me out, because if they were anywhere else, this would not be happening. But they decided to show up. They were at their home, so it could happen to anybody at that situation. It freaked me out. I didn't want to be at home at night anymore after that. So yeah. You got Aaron J on your side, so I'm clearly still in the right here. But other than that, that would be my scary. There's a few more, but that would be the most scary. And I can't believe The Visit was brought up because, holy shit, that movie sucked too.
That is a great fucking choice. Well, because Strangers is something that can fucking happen to you in real life, and that is just terrifying in itself.
I think really effective. Also, just the wrong place at the wrong time sort of situation, and that's always just like effective. I also just love how like Hereditary is. You just see them in the background, and the camera doesn't like focus too much on them. It's just focusing on like Liv Tyler and shit, and it's just like they're right there all the time. They're in the house. It's just really good.
Yeah, definitely a great choice, Cody. Thank you for finally being able to pop on. You got to pop on when Kelly's here for sure, because Kelly's been wanting you on. So we're gonna find
Stop
another.
picking video game bosses. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what they. The New York Yankees. We're good.
Thank you so much, Cody. That was actually a great fucking choice. Any real life shit like that is terrifying because yes, it could happen right next door to you, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere like that. We will be bringing on our next customer. We got Scott.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Pretty good.
So, question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
So I want to mention another found footage movie because my favorite horror movie of all time is The Blair Witch Project, the first found footage movie. And, everyone I think knows about the last, 10 minutes or so when they're actually in the house. And how scary that is. And the final shot, obviously, of Mike standing in the corner. And all of that stuff is great. There's so many reasons, like, you've never seen the Blair Witch up until that point. So you don't even know like what could be waiting for them around the corner. But one detail, which I really enjoy and that I actually read in a review or something before I even noticed it myself, is that, they have two cameras when they go into the home. And Mike has one camera and Heather has another camera. And Mike gets, knocked out, whatever, drops his camera. And then we cut to Heather recording on her camera, but her camera does not record sound. And Mike's camera does record sound. So you actually hear her screaming, but you don't hear her screaming from behind the camera, even though she's holding the camera. You hear it from the dropped camera that Mike had already that is like, in front of her some amount of feet. So it's this really like disembodied effect of, again, that she's holding the camera and screaming, but you don't hear the screaming. You hear the screaming from far away. So it's one of those things, again, among many other things about Blair Witch is that they really know how to use the infinitesimal budget that they have to make something really scary. And that's an example of like, all you really need is, a couple cameras and you can create that really strange and, affecting detail there.
I've actually never thought about that before. Just the fact that her camera doesn't record sound, and just because that's like that's maybe the most iconic one, or the second most iconic part of Blair Witch, other than like the close up that she has. But like that whole, I just didn't even think about the fact that the sound is separate to her camera. I'm gonna have to rewatch Blair Witch this October just to like fully pick up on that.
Yeah, like really I said, cool. I didn't even notice it until I think I read it in somebody's review or something. Then I was like, wow, that's pretty genius, actually.
Wow, that's cool.
That's one thing about like especially Blair Witch Project and a couple others where they use sound as a horror element. And like part of Blair Witch that always got me is something that Jeremy brought up, little kids outside the tent when there's no fucking children outside that tent. And you're just hearing that. That's some freaky fucking shit outside the goddamn tent coming at you. That is a great answer, Scott. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for popping on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will see you soon. Thank you so much. Man, bringing up the sound, man, like Blair Witch, is one of the most iconic found footage horror movies.
I didn't even think about that, but like just we can use the full extent of movies, and the visuals are an aspect, but the sound also just like really can get under your skin. So no, I think it's really
be music or just audio in general can get you. We're gonna continue going here. We got the next customer. We got Dylan. Hey man. So question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
Yeah, I was debating on not showing up after Jake brought up his pick because I picked a different scene from Hereditary. But it's one of the moments because like I watch like basically all horror movies for free time when I want to watch something that's not for trivia. And so there's not a lot that really like often scares me, but the one scene that I remember gave me like the biggest like gut reaction, I think, in a theater was watching Hereditary when the telephone pole scene happened, which I know it's kind of become a meme in this community due to ILS, but just the way that scene is like paced, where it's like super intense leading up to it. When she's having this like allergic reaction, and then obviously she sticks her head out the window to breathe, and then gets decapitated, and just the complete silence after that, and it just lets you like sit in that moment where he's just like in shock, and he's like, that just happened, there's nothing I can do about it, and it's just sitting there. And then because he has nothing else to do, there's nothing he can do at that point, he just drives home in silence and goes to bed. And then it cuts to the next scene with the family crying once they realize what happens. And then the cherry on top, which has been like stuck in my nightmares for like the past while since I've seen the movie, is the shot of the head just on the ground with the ants crawling over it. It's just that whole chunk of the movie like shook me for days after I saw it.
That is an amazing moment in there, and the creepiest part to me is the fact that he drives home. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't know what the fuck to do, and he just goes to sleep.
Yeah, there's like nothing you can do.
Because you know the moment he knows the moment that they come out there and they see that all hell's breaking loose, and he's just so terrified he doesn't know what to do at that moment. That is such a great fucking answer there. Jake, what do you think about that?
The scariest part of that is like just immediately right after the head is gone. It's just him just in the car, like, and just like looking through the mirror, and then just realizing just the silence of that whole sequence is just like, holy shit, that just happened. Really effective, and also just knowing what's gonna happen when Toni Collette like discovers her body. Like, oh my god, just that anxiety that sort of built when she like discovers it, and then the funeral. Really good choice. There's like many great scenes, I reckon, from Hereditary that you could pick, and I'm glad we picked. I think arguably the two best sequences or scenes you could say. So very good choice, Dylan.
That one definitely needed to be brought up tonight for sure. Thank you, Dylan, so much for jumping on. We will talk to you later. And we got another customer. We got the barman himself.
I'm very curious.
Yeah,
what your choice
I'm
is.
very curious what you're about to. I'm still split between two choices. No one picked either one that I was going to go for.
We'll let you pick both.
Yeah.
You guys are so kind. This is why I keep coming back to the store and keep getting your coupons. So Hereditary is good, but it's not Ari Aster's best film. Have you heard the good word of Midsommar? Look, I'm not a big horror person. I watch horror movies from time to time, but Midsommar was just a gorgeous film to watch. It also doesn't hurt that I'm part Swedish. But the cliff scene in that movie is just stomachly churning inducing. Because the use of sound in that scene it's so minimal that from the angle choices that Ari Aster uses to like depict like how high the cliff is and all that stuff, it's nerve-wracking, especially the second jumper where you see the entire thing from the side and it's one shot. You see that thing drop, and it's a fast, heavy drop too.
Oh yeah.
And when you find out that he's still alive,
that's the worst part.
And then you see like 4 or 5 people walking towards him with this big ass hammer. Holy shit. That's terrifying. The other one I have is from Wait Until Dark. It's when the character of Rote leaps out in the darkness. So this is a movie where it's 3 people breaking into this blind woman's house to look for heroin that accidentally came into her possession. 2 of them have already died because of the ringleader, Rote. She's able to get the upper hand on him by like eliminating almost all of the lights and stabbing him. And then she's crawling and like trying to find her way to the door, and she finds her way to the door, and she's trying to open it so bad. What she doesn't realize is that Rote's locked it with those little chain locks.
Yeah.
So she's screaming for help, and it's like pretty dark, and there's just bodies. There's a body lying on the floor, and so she's sobbing, and she crawls down. She like walks down the stairs, and she's trying to find like something to do, some way to like get help. So as she's walking, you suddenly see Rote with like this superhuman ability just pounce from the door frame, and it's this great shot where you see him just like, you thought he's dead, and he grabs her ankle, and it's one of the best jump scares in a film ever if you don't know what's coming for it, and I'm so sorry to spoil it for all, but yeah, those two scenes were like neck and neck for me.
I haven't seen Wait Until Dark. I gotta add this to my list. I might watch this this Halloween because that sounds really interesting. I like that. The effectiveness of that jump scare.
Yeah, Wait Until Dark is a perfect horror movie that uses suspense to drive the horror throughout, especially since she is blind, and it's fucking fantastic the way it's used. But and Midsummer, like you brought up, that big ass clown hammer that they use, my God, Jesus Christ, to knock somebody out like that, to just finish them is fucking crazy. Those are both great choices, Bar.
That's a good choice. I would just say quickly, I would. There's another pick from Midsummer. I don't want to say it just in case our next guest.
I think I know.
But yeah, there's one other scene from Midsummer that like I remember watching in the cinema and my jaw dropped, like just how fucked it was, and like holy shit, I can't believe this is what they're doing. But yeah, not very great choice. Both choices. I can't wait. Can't wait to watch Wait Until Dark.
Thank you so much, Bar.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
next
Bar.
time. Man, it's been some fantastic choices, and we'll get in some random people that I would not expect would have actually answers for this question, which is awesome. We're coming on to the next customer. We got Aaron.
What's up?
How's
What's
it going,
up, man? Glad to finally make it on. Thank you for having me. Just one more thing. Obviously, A24, I've seen Midsommar like 7 times in theaters.
Wait, you're a fan of A24?
Yeah. I don't know. It's only movies I watch,
Wow.
actually. So, and I'm really bad at trivia. If you've watched any A24 like matches, I finished last.
No, when we teamed up, we were pretty good when we teamed up.
Yeah. But either way, I remember our infamous team where you answered every question. The like lead up to the cliff jumping scene, rewatching that and just watching the face of the two, and she's so into it, and he just wasn't into it the whole way. He's like, I don't want to do this. I know it. Like you can see it in his eyes. Rewatching it, it's still really scary. I was trying to figure out an answer for this, similar to Dylan. I watch a lot of horror in my free time, so I think nothing scares me. But like one running theme was definitely silence. So I kind of thought about a few like silent horror themes. So I thought about Signs, and then I was like, nah, I don't really. And there was like 2 parts from Signs that really scared me. The knife part where he's reaching under and like the knife.
Oh yeah.
Like, Jesus, that fucking part scares the fuck out of me. And then there's obviously the birthday party scene, like, which is the first time we saw that in theaters. It's the craziest reaction ever to it. But I was like, nah, I'm going to skip that, even though I just said it. And I was like, all of a sudden I looked down and Lord David Cronenberg, he's always there for me. A24 before A24, I like to call him. He can still scare me. And this movie particularly, when the body starts to fall apart in the bathroom, like we've all probably had a part, whether our toenail or fingernail where it's fallen off. We know that feeling. So you can feel that horror. And it's just like terrifying. He just doesn't want it to be happening. And whether you get the symbolism of it or not, you can feel that horror. Anybody can do it. If anybody's watching it, they start to cringe. You can feel that. It's disgusting. It's all happening right in front of you. It's just like this inevitability of what's to come from there. You can rewatch it. It still scares you, like every Cronenberg movie. He's the best. He's my favorite director for a reason. So yeah, it was funny. Like I couldn't think all day. I was trying to think of an answer to this. I'm really bad at like favorite or most or like all that. Like I'm really bad at coming up with that for myself. I always like to hear other people. So and then I just looked down. It's like, yeah, that's like one of the scariest movies ever. And perfect blow, And then honorable mention, my least favorite movie ever, The Mist, has my favorite ending ever because of how terrible it is for the.
Oh, yeah. So
I was hoping the whole time for horrible shit. So like I can't imagine afterwards living with that. And how quickly it's like 2 seconds later, the mist is gone and everybody's there. So I know it's a lot to go through, but yeah, I'll say The Fly, I guess. But Signs was close. Signs has like 2 of the scariest moments, which as a lot of people have said, have to do with silence because we all know.
Yeah.
That birthday scene, like, I remember that actually getting like an actual
Domino's
shock. Like,
choice.
holy shit! Like, it just
that was
happens.
that's probably
And
my
then-
real answer. My pretentious, somewhat on brand.
Ah, no, I absolutely am all for the pretentious. I mean, The Fly is also just one of the greatest horror movies
Fly
ever
and
made.
Signs are honestly 1 and 2 for me. Those are easily like the 2 scariest for me.
I think the part in The Fly for me is when she rips the jaw off, and then he becomes the full transformation.
There's so
into
many
that.
right answers for the part in The Fly that scares you the most. There's just
Even the deleted scene with the spider, the spider cat or whatever, the monkey cat, whatever.
it's all but those would be my 2 for sure.
Those are great fucking answers. The Bloom does fucking incredible in The Fly. And Signs, you can't get any better than that fucking alien walking across the damn screen like he does.
I'm an M. Night stan, man. I love M. Night.
Yeah.
Old is a fucking classic. Everybody's crazy. Everybody's
remembering Old for 20 years.
When I like got ready to see Old, sorry to drive it off, but when I got ready to see Old, and like I was so ready to see the worst movie ever, and it was purposely bad. I'm like, you guys are idiots. You don't understand. They're like, of course, they're talking about age and old. Like, how many times in the first? Like, yes, it's purpose. It's great. Yeah.
It's great. I love Old. Yeah.
Sorry, Alex Wolf, my boy, my hereditary boy.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I'm
Thank you for
finally glad we were able to
I
get you
only
on.
talk about one thing next time, so you guys can actually talk.
We'll definitely have you on again, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Aaron.
Man, that was like I will always not get tired of talking about the Bloom. The Bloom in any movie.
How can you? It's just it's too good.
And Signs was definitely in the back of my mind for an answer for that.
I've got like a list in my head of like the best or like the most talked about, and I was like, we gotta bring up Signs and just that birthday scene. It's like really good shit. I'm glad, and also just the Fly as well. Like, is so good. Absolutely scares the fuck out of me.
Oh yeah. Just the creepiness of it is insane. The body horror is so fucking great. But we do have another customer ready to come on.
He's a casual.
We got Matt.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going good, man.
Scale 1 to 10, how casual? How casual are you?
Pretty casual right now. I did put a shirt on, so
I'm good.
So, question of the night: what's the scariest scene moment in a horror movie?
Most of the ones I thought have already been taken, so I'm going to go with a more personal pick. It might not be the scariest, but it's like one of the first horror movies I saw when I was young, so it's kind of stuck with me, and that's Poltergeist, which does such a great job of kind of the dread throughout the film, whether it be the clown or the tree and all that stuff. But the scene that sticks with me is when the guy goes for like the late night snack, and then the maggots start coming out of the food, and then he goes to the mirror and starts picking at his face, and next thing you know, he's ripping his face off. Oh, I mean, it looks silly now when you go back and watch it, but it's just it was so creepy.
For a kids movie like that, because it is PG, like it was made for like a family horror movie. For that scene to come on is definitely can be frightening to a child. It's that and the clown, like both those damn scenes.
That's the thing I always think about.
Great, and it's Spielberg's hands doing the fucking clown, which is fucking amazing. It's so
I didn't know
incredible. Like that is such a great choice because that does have some great fucking horror moments in there for sure.
Definitely.
Jake, have you seen Poltergeist?
I've not seen Poltergeist. I missed a question about this in a trivia match that hasn't dropped yet. Spoiler, but I will be watching Poltergeist this October. I guarantee it.
Oh, perfect.
Definitely.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. You have yourself a good night.
All right, guys, take care.
See ya.
Hey, so before we leave, I do want to bring up a couple.
Do you have a couple points?
Oh, yes. I was going to bring up one big one that I was talking to Jeremy a little earlier where we were talking about the things that kind of get us. One is like stuff that happens with like small objects like your hands or like eyes, toes. So I got one from the Evil Dead remake where when she gets possessed and she uses a needle to just start stabbing the shit out of his eye and his hand. It's not like it's the scariest moment ever, but it's the fact that it's the dread of that needle going in and out near the eye and stuff like that, where she keeps clamoring. And then also have to bring up The Exorcist 3. the jump scare of all
Oh,
jump scares
yes,
with the
the
nurse is
scissors.
so
Yeah.
fucking fantastic
Oh.
because you kind of know
really good.
something is going to happen at that moment, but you don't
Yeah.
know where it's coming from, and it's just so quick. It's just a frame or 2 frames fucking there. It's so fucking great.
And just the build up. It's just that one static shot, and it's just
Yes.
her and coming through each room, and then as she goes through the room, and then nothing, and then walks out, and then the guy with the scissors, and it's just like really effective. That sequence I always love. Do you have? Are we gonna look at some in the comments?
Oh yes, one that Spence brought up at the beginning, which was Bear from Annihilation.
I
which
definitely
is-
considered the best scene in Annihilation. That shit, really good. Also,
Yeah.
speaking of like going back to sound, just the fact
Yeah.
that it's able to emulate like one of the women there is just like really good. Like, oh my god, it sounds like her, but it's not. Just really good.
the sound especially is what makes that so effective. Like it's so fun, especially when it like you realize that the screams they've been hearing throughout have to be coming from that bear most of the time, and it's the bear making those fucking noises of the other characters, which is so fucking creepy. And then Garth also brought up Large March, which is a great horror moment because you just like seeing that face. It's just so fucking out there.
It's
Such
so
a-
unexpected for that movie as well.
It comes out of nowhere, and I think that's what makes it a great actually horror moment from there. Oh yeah.
And then,
Backward Fall
the
Down the Stairs is
yeah.
always a fucking great choice for that.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's Exorcist has so many good, like effective stuff like that. I'm surprised no one brought up The Thing.
Oh yeah, The Thing.
One
One big
horror
one for
like,
that is definitely the chest opening up when they're doing
the
the defibrillator.
defibrillator. Oh, my God.
Man, it's just, and then of course the dog scenes. Man, just when you finally get to see what The Thing really is, and it's overtaking the dogs, especially when it starts like plastering the dog in the corner and it's wrapping the tentacle around it. It's just so fucking creepy.
You know, there's one in the comment that just got up. I didn't think of this, but this is absolutely amazing.
1000% a great horror moment. It's Sam
That
Raimi
hospital scene.
doing.
It's just Raimi like, okay, I'm just gonna put this horror scene in this the superhero movie. I got the ability to do it, and it sets up the character as well and how terrifying he is, and also just really good horror for a PG movie. Like, oh my god,
Oh, 100%. It's out of nowhere, but it makes sense. Like in that moment, it 100% makes sense of why it's there.
Yeah. Well, just to quickly go back to The Thing, I really love when the defibrillator and then the chest opens up, and then when the head is like comes undone, and then it tries to get away with its tongue, and then it gets like the spider legs. That one shadow shot always like freaked me out, just like because I'm not a big fan of spiders, and so when you see this thing with big spiders, the big spider legs, and then the eyes sort of come out, and the eyes on the head mean nothing anymore. It's just got its own like new pair of eyes. I just remember that being really terrifying.
And what Garth brought up also, the blood test scene is always a creepy scene of not knowing. It's the aspect of not knowing who it is. You know it's one of them, just have no idea of who it could be. It's also fucking great. Oh yeah, Silver Bullet. That's a great choice as well.
I have one more choice though that I just want to bring up before we leave, because I'm shouting out Michael Campbell for this choice. It's from Freddy vs. Jason. It's not it's got a bunch of shit action movie action scenes which I love, but there's one effective moment that really always gets me when I can't remember the main chick's name, but she's in the police station and she's fallen asleep, and this is when Freddy has just gained more power. And she's walking through she's hearing like these children's like sounds. And so she's like walking through, and it has this one static shot as she walks from like left to right. And on the wall is all the missing persons like photos. And they all just like, they're smiling. And then as she walks, they all drop and just stare at her.
Yeah.
With their dead eyes and just like that, like emotionless face. I just remember that being super effective for a movie called Freddy vs. Jason to include that. Absolutely incredible. An actual effective use of horror. And then Raimi used a very similar technique in the Multiverse of Madness, which when I saw that I was like, oh my god, it's so good. Gemini Killer, that's good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The whole ending, the whole last Exorcist 3. Yes, I did.
Oh yeah.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And then last shout out, Judge Doom getting flattened.
Oh, the fucking
As a
eyes.
child, yeah, that's a great fucking moment for that.
Absolutely.
But thank you, everybody, for jumping on. You guys all had amazing picks. Everybody in the comments for sticking it out, man. All of you had great shit to talk about. Nazar, you should have stuck around, you bastard. That's okay. We'll get you on eventually. Jake, thank you so much for filling in today, man. You've been
Thank you. This
amazing.
is fun.
Yeah,
this is so
has
much
been amazing.
fun.
This is not going to be the last time we get you on in some capacity, man, because you always show up anyway, so it always makes it a fun time. Thank you, everybody, for joining tonight. We will see you next week, next Friday, same time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy, everybody.
And we're clear.